Fellas, remember last week when I said I wasn't gonna build a build anytime soon? Well, I lied.
Will be endless.
Force of arms!
But it's okay because this one is definitely justifiable. This is a Hollow Palm Raider using Anomalous Ground Slam for even more speed. And this character over here is packing one hell of a punch as well. Thing is, with the 3.13 changes to Raider, speed is the name of the game. In fact, she moves stupidly fast enough that anything else is going to feel like a downgrade. But not only do we go fast, as we also fight stuff equally as fast. And you're gonna see that from Sirius on Awakener 8, Uber Elder, Maven, and other stuff sprinkled around as it's tradition around here. Having said all of this, I wanna go out on a limb and make the claim that a build like this isn't particularly expensive, as a big part of our gearing process involves spamming essences, which is gonna be cheaper than obtaining fully crafted gear. With all honesty, the difficult part is gonna be Awakener slamming two body armors together because everything else should be relatively obtainable, within reason. Though do not expect mapping to blow your socks off, it is a bit rough in that regard, but the single target greatly compensates for that caveat, as you'll see throughout the video. And to be totally honest, I kinda did a speedrun to 95 with this character by spamming bridgestones, so mapping in the end wasn't really a problem for me, but that's a topic for another day. So hey, if you are new around here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, otherwise a rating and a comment are always appreciated. And with that said, let's spam Ground Slam until everything around us is but red pasty jam. Alright everyone, you know what time it is. Remember that we are doing a Hollow Palm build. This means no weapons, no gloves, and we gotta stack dexterity to see the good numbers go up. First things first, it's an Awakener slammed body armor that has increased the dexterity alongside an exploding mod. The exploding mod being the mandatory part so that we don't have to deal with crappy undead crap that is abundant nowadays. You also want as much life and resistances on it, but we are also bench crafting elemental element avoidance on it because yes, we are gonna be immune to that crap as well in this character. Moving to the helmet, we want life, resistances, dexterity, and for enchantments you've got some options. Ancestral Protector grants 18% attack speed while active, or increased Blood and Sand effect, or Vulnerability Curse effect, or Blood Rage attack speed, or Ground Slam damage. Either of these is fine, but the Ancestral Protector one is the best one to have. Moving on, the belt is a synthesized base with increased dexterity as the implicit. We are gonna craft this one by spamming Essences of Sorrow until we hit a good chunk of life and resistances. For the boots, I've got a fractured base with locked dexterity, to which I spam the resistance essences until I hit the rolls on screen. Life, resistances, and movement speed. I recommend doing the exact same thing. One of the rings has vulnerability on hit alongside life, resistances, and dexterity if possible. We also benchcraft reduced mana cost of skills on it. The other ring is a fractured onset ring with life as the locked modifier. This way I could spam Essences of Sorrow again to force dexterity, and I did that until I hit the rolls on screen. We also benchcraft reduced mana cost of skills on it. And on the amulet we want life, as much dexterity as humanly possible, a resistance, and we benchcraft even more reduced mana cost of skills on it. We also anoint Panopticon for even more damage when the totems are up. For flasks, a Lion's Roar, a Basalt Flask, and a Bottled Faith. However, if you cannot afford the Bottled Faith, swap it with a regular Sulfur Flask that has increased attack speed during Flask effect. It is not going to replace the DPS bonus from the Bottled Faith, but it will provide a nice boost while it's up. Having said all of this, remember that Chaos Resistance is a must nowadays. Cramming it into the gear is going to prove a little bit difficult, and while you could ignore it completely, I will advise spending some currency getting enough Chaos Rest to see that positive numbers. Personally, I don't think the gear is super fancy, but you'll be the judge of that. So with that said, let's move on to the skill tree. Alright, so this is a level 95 Ranger. We sided with no bandits, and for Pantheons, Shakari and Solaris are the best choices. They almost always are. For the Ascendancy, we take Rapid Assault, Way of the Poacher, Avatar of the Chase, and Avatar of the Slaughter, in that particular order, especially because that's gonna make the leveling a lot more smooth. Now, for the tree itself, I am gonna focus on the layout that I followed while leveling. We are gonna rush the Cluster Jewel socket near point blank. Remember that you cannot use large Cluster Jewels outright, so you'll have to level up a bit before you can equip them, but you still want to have the notables I've got on mine. Exploit Weakness, Master the Fundamentals, Pulse and Furious Assault. This is an 8 passive Jewel, anything more just breaks our total points spent and we are forced to overlevel, so keep that in mind. This large cluster Jewel also hosts one with nothing for Hollow Palm technique. Alright, once you've got that cluster Jewel socket, we are rushing towards the Impale stuff in the Swift Skewering node under the Duelist area and Forceful Skewering in the Scion area. From there we are gonna rush towards the Shadow area. We are taking life, even more life, some dexterity stuff alongside intelligence and dexterity. Once our tree looks like our poor decision making in real life, we are grabbing the useful stuff that we ignored on the way, the frenzy charges on the Shadow, Ranger and Duelist areas, alongside the life stuff that we didn't touch on the way to the different paths that we took, the increased dexterity nodes, some dual wielding and damage on the Duelist starting area, some more damage and life on the Ranger area, iron reflexes, and we are also taking the entire crystal skin wheel. Alongside the thick skin wheel and the craft on our body armor, we are immune to chill, freeze, ignite and shock. Plus we also get some extra resistances which are always helpful in a build like this. If you noticed from the gameplay, I have Berserk during boss fights, and that is thanks to a Lethal Pride with Warriors under Akoya, which is going to turn any keystone in range into Chain Breaker. We only use that rage to trigger Berserk, especially for single target, you know, to melt the poor bosses away. We are also using a Watcher's Eye with extra impales while using Pride. Now, if you cannot afford that one, do not panic. Attack damage with Pride, double damage with Pride, hell, even Impale chance with Pride and you replace Dread Banner with War Banner. But if you can afford a Watcher's Eye like this, do your damage a favor and go all in. One of the jewels is a rapid expansion, socketed in the Duelist area to give Ground Slam some weird-ass angles when used, alongside the chance to generate an endurance charge when we stun an enemy. This is mostly used while mapping, you won't be stunning bosses as often, so if you want to, you can replace this one with a regular jewel. And finally, that regular jewel that we are using has increased the maximum life, dexterity, and any other damage modifiers that you can cram into it. Melee damage, area damage, attack speed, global fist damage, more dexterity, etc. And that is it for the skill tree. Mangled, I won't lie, but it all makes sense, I think. 95 is kinda mandatory though, to get a decent amount of life and damage. But yeah, let's grab this one with the gem setups. In the body armor, Anomalous Ground Slam, Fortify, Impale, Woke melee fist damage, Divergent multi-strike and Brutality. Woke Brutality if you can. Also try to corrupt these gems for 2120 for more damage and fun. Yes, Anomalous Ground Slam has less area of effect, but it also has bigger DPS numbers, and we all know that's the thing that matters in the end, right? Anyways, in the helmet, Vaal Ancestral Warchief, Phantasmal Ancestral Protector, Blood Rage and Berserk. The Vaal Ancestral Warchief is only placed during single target, but the Protector is more than enough most of the times. It is during actual boss fights that we plop the Vaal Warchief. Also, because someone is going to ask, you can cast Vaal Ancestral Warchief alongside a Protector. The regular Warchief is going to replace the Protector as long as both of them are not linked to multiple totems, but the Vaal version is not tied to that limitation. Anyways, moving on, in the boots, Blood and Sand, Dread Banner, Herald of Purity and Pride. Again, if you can corrupt for 2120 on each of these, that'd be great. Finally, we also use a Flame Dash on the Onset Ring. And with all of that explained, said and done, let's wrap this one up. I normally do not like bragging about not dying, but this character literally has 2 deaths at level 95. This is mostly due to spamming Bridgestones from level 70 to 95. The only times I died were during a Maven fight to practice, and Isaro during the Merc Lab, cause you know, you hit his life threshold and the fucker hangs for another minute throwing random crap at you. Fun. Snark aside, this character does mean things. You've seen throughout the video, the Conquerors, Metamorphs, random bosses, random Breach Lords are getting deleted. I am gonna go ahead and claim that this is far stronger than the Scion from last league, doing something similar with Replica Perfect form, and far more enjoyable due to being able to destroy enemies on kill, while also going at match speed thanks to the Ranger changes. I am literally sitting at 108 increased movement speed in my hideout. With Frenzies and a Speed Flask, yes, you are gonna go extremely fast. It is actually funny and addictive, which is bad because nothing else comes close to the same fluidity this character provides unless it's another raider. Now, again, retaking my investment claim, I think that this is not particularly expensive. This late into the league, you normally expect stuff to be stupid unaffordable. But I don't know if it's Harvest's return or people doing who knows what nowadays that made this really easy to gear up. Hell, even RNG was on my side because essence spamming wasn't, you know, a chore and it actually delivered relatively quickly. Granted, I will advise getting more life in the gear. I think that with tier 2 rolls on the body and the boots, alongside a hybrid armor and life on the boots, this could easily hit 6k life or as close to it. Though, being honest, I don't think there is room on the tree to unspec from damage and get life, so the gear is gonna be your best bet for that. Also, as I said, chaos resistance is mandatory. I sit at 20% positive chaos res in this character and I have room to get more. In your case, you gotta get more. And just to wrap this up, as always, Holopalm is such a joy to play. Like, alongside Savior main builds, I really enjoy putting Holopalmers together. It is a bit of a challenge to gear up, but it's such a rewarding playstyle that I simply cannot recommend giving my Holopalmers or anyone else's a go. They simply are too much fun. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. I think that we are currently witnessing Elder and Shaper get the nuclear clap treatment, so I'll leave you with the rest of that. With audio, of course. So if you got to this point, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you again soon with something Path of Exile related, cause I can see not many of you are interested in other stuff for now. Anyways, take care, have a nice weekend, and peace out.
The prize piece comes to join.
My collection. Behold my collection.
I will have what I want. Death will not be an escape. Scurry, scurry. Stand still. Cascade of pain.
Death made real.
I'm not up to that just yet.
Resistance will be punished. Time contorts. Scurry, scurry.
My irritation is growing. Stand still. This will not be an escape. Scurry, scurry. Stand still.
Stop resisting. Penalty ends. Punishment inescapable.